Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to briefly talk about my Cosmic team and my City team and kind of how I got here. Back in the day when I first started Dark Dimension, I kind of showed the giant chart, and I'll show you that chart, that I was using to determine some of the tunes that I wanted to bring in. The general gist was I wanted to make sure they were useful in multiple areas of the game before I brought them in because the gear investment. And that still kind of holds true. It gets a little bit more finicky as you kind of move on. And obviously we've learned a ton from Dark Dimension 3. So at this point, I just wanted to make sure I shared those teams with you. My thoughts a little bit on kind of what I think about these teams with where I'm at. And I'm going to get on the City and Cosmic about what I'm expecting to have here. So I'll do another one in the future that's more of a, this is if I had to start all over, this is exactly what I'd bring. Really want to finish the entire thing 100% before I finish that so that it's really well thought through and not just like, this is what I think, but I've never experienced it, so I really can't say. So I want to get into that. So anyway, let's jump into this spreadsheet.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, so right now, this is, and you're not gonna be able to see it super well, but if you haven't seen this before, I have a gigantic spreadsheet. I mean, it's just huge, and it's really just trying to cover all of these different elements of the game as far as, you know, the mini uniques and everything. So, what I want to do here is kind of show you how I got to what I got to. You can see off to the left here, you know, I've got a giant global section. I've got a giant cosmic section. I got a giant city section. I've got rankings on the left-hand side for game modes that had to do with like Dark Dimension 2 because they should already have a certain gear tier on them, which is high up. And then I ranked the tunes in that one, Arena, Ultimate 7, and War to get kind of a average score, and then I conditionally formatted that so I could have those tunes that were in, you know, better standings pop out to me. And then I found these other columns where I've got a bio column, a mutant column, and a mystic skill and tech. And then within each one of those, I did the whole how many mini uniques it has, and, you know, basically created formulas so that I'd get all the way down on the bottom here. And we'll zoom in. Zoom in. That's a little bit too much for you. It's a little bit too much for you. Where I zoomed in and I could see where I had the potential tunes that I was looking at for each of these groups. Because that's really what it's about, where it's kind of these additional groups that that you get that's like, you know, all right, well, Magneto, if I want to bring him, he requires 30, 75, and 75. That's a lot. You know, versus maybe you want to bring Phoenix and Sinister, and that's 18, 45, and 45. What I mean by that is it's 18 of the chaotic ribosomes, 45 of the isochronial compounds, adaptive pathogens, so on and so forth. So that's what those three numbers mean. So I tried to find the ones that, you know, were the strongest tunes, but also maybe didn't need the most, you know, mini uniques, and then kind of went from there. And what ended up happening as I was doing this, and I also had, you know, the maximum gear required if I brought in all those specific tunes. So what I ended up doing is that I saw kind of where I was starting to filter these things with tons of bio were needed, mainly because of City, you know, and then you've got only a couple mutants, so on, a few mystics, not really any skill. Skill ends up coming because they're not really your top choice. So it's kind of like, well, and that's kind of why you see people with Trooper, is because it's like, well, I've got these skills. Now, granted, you end up also having an SBC bottleneck, so sometimes you got to think about that. It's like, well, but I'm costing myself these other ones. Do I need Trooper to get in? The only reason to bring Trooper is just to get in. So if you've got another tune that you can gear 14, then do that. But again, you've got to think about, is that going to cost you materials or minis from somebody else that you need further down the line? So anyway, so let's get to the cosmic part. So I had Hela from the get-go, and I had Black Bolt. So I really needed 3 more, and what ended up happening is I knew that I wanted to bring Minerva because of her ultimate. Even though you probably weren't going to get it very often, the 15% the potential revives, the heal on the rare deaths, you know, it was there. So I really wanted to have that. I eventually even T4'd her passive, which is a terrible passive, but with Hela and Greg dying, I was like, you know what, I want to play with the RNG on that a lot. Have I noticed a huge difference? No. Am I going to probably regret it eventually? Probably. But I did do it to try it, and so far it hasn't been terrible, but Cosmic hits so hard, I don't know if it matters. It's similar to the global stuff where it's like, just bring Phoenix and move on. I'm not sure you're really doing a whole lot there with Minerva in her passive. So I decided on her. Then the next point, I was like, do I want to bring Sif? Do I want to bring Thor? Do I want to bring Loki? So, you know, and then Proxima Midnight came into the game, and she was a skill. Now, Loki, I have 5 reds on, and I ended up bringing Loki. Reason being is because I really liked his special with the enemy being able to hit it twice. I already had it T4'd, and his summons. And I knew those summons were additional turn meter for Minerva as well. So I was like, yep, Loki. And I have 5 red stars on mine in particular. So I'm into node 11 so far. And I'll see if I think he's definitely better than Thor. Thor's got that passive damage that's guaranteed to happen, whereas Loki, the special isn't guaranteed, nor is his ultimate. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the AI hitting each other is not an insta-kill. Because it's like, if these guys are insta-killing me, why aren't they insta-killing each other? So there must be some armor situation there, that their armor is just so high that even when they hit each other, it's not a crazy one. You know, I thought it'd be basically in a race, a tune off a board, and it's not. Which is a little frustrating, but anyway, it is what it is. So that ended up being my 4. I ended up not doing 5 because what ends up happening is I want to get Ghost Rider in for City because I've already got Symbiote Spider-Man ready. I have them ready. And my next 2 desirable ones are Carnage and Ghost Rider. But I'm short on my minis, and I'm on node 11. So I'm like, okay, I can't bring Thor. So like, I'm not even going to try to farm it. Everything for his T4 or his T14 is going to go to Ghost Rider because I don't want to be trying to do City with 1 tune, which might happen. Because if I don't, I mean, depends how long it takes me to finish 11 and do 12, which I've heard 12 is terrible. But, you know, it's just a situation where you want to be smart about where you're, you know, don't just take 5 Cosmic in. I took 4. I'm fine. You know, I'm probably about halfway done with 11. And, you know, I'm hoping to do 12 in anywhere from 40 to 60 attempts, you know, depending. I know that was a really hard one and Wales struggled with. So, that's kind of where I got to those with all of that. And what I use at the bottom here too is, you know, I showed how much gear I had and how many of these I still needed. So that really helped show me like, man, I still need a ton of bio. So if I'm going to leave Venom in here, that means I'm not going to be able to get what I want in time. I need to focus farm, you know, a Ghost Rider, even though they're different. But, you know, if you're using war credits, it's like, well, you don't have endless war credits to buy these things. So you really got to do smart shopping. And that's kind of how I got to mine. So again, for the Cosmic, Black Bolt, Hela, Minerva, I think those 3 are an absolute, definitely bring them, no doubt about it. I also considered Star-Lord, to be honest with you, because, you know, similar to DD2, you know, his energy battery ideas, concepts, like, I thought that that would be helpful. But then you hit the tech, you know, constraints where I was looking down here and I'm going, all right, how many more of these do I need? I'm like, I still need almost close to 60 of these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And I was like, all right, and this is where I was like, all right, I've got tons of the skill stuff, but I don't, you know, it's like I'd have to level up Sif far, and I'm taking gear away from some of these other ones. Maybe I can do this with just 4 tunes. So, I mean, it really is just where you're spinning all these different plates and you don't want them to drop. So instead of spinning so many, you might just want to set one down and just try to spin 3 instead of 4. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. Let me show you guys my characters in game real quick. All right, so I filtered this based on gear tier, so you can see on my Cosmic up there, my symbiote Spider-Man, or Spider-Man symbiote Spider-Man, is sitting there. And then this is where I'm at, like, so with Carnage. You know, I mentioned him, that I could bring him in, but problem is that I can't get any Marvel extracts. They're just not popping up. So I'm like, okay, and I need, not just for this one, so I need 4 to get them finished there, and this piece is done. Problem is that I also need it for this piece, so I need another 15, so I need 19 total. I should be good on the syringes, and I need 3 more of these, what are these called, the molecular scans. So I've got this Moro extract bottleneck that's just sitting there going, okay, well, I'm close, but not quite. And then I've got Ghost Rider, in a very similar situation where I'm going, okay, I need 3 here to finish that one, plus another 15 for the other one you saw. And then I need another 14 of these to finish the other one, which I'm not sure I'm going to get those done in time. I could very easily see myself going to City with 2 characters, which honestly sucks. Like, you know, it's one of those things like, am I wasting cores hurrying through this? And it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe. But that's the type of thing you got to think about. You know, when I'm making these teams, you know, I'm thinking about where am I going to get, or am I going to be able to get all these mini uniques in time to be able to get to the next set of nodes. So giant spreadsheet, a lot of thought going into it. Ultimately, what it comes down to is, you know, be smart about the characters you've got. Don't overextend yourself gear-wise. You know, bring 4 in to get into Dark Dimension, or I'm sorry, 5 to get into Dark Dimension. Global, you need Phoenix and 1 other tune, essentially. So I'd almost argue, you know what? For your first 5, bring Hela, bring Phoenix, bring Symbiote Spider-Man, and then after that, maybe Colossus to help Phoenix and Global, maybe Yo-Yo, even though she's a bio, you know, suck. And she, you know, she arguably, if she's helping you with 8 nodes, that might be a little bit better. But then again, it's like, is she really going to help you if you're just trying to Phoenix? So anyway, you know, I'll do a video on that separate. I'm not going to, it's a whole, I'm about to go on a tangent that I don't want to. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's the teams that I'm going in here with. This is going to be my last kind of, how I built it. This is the teams I used. This is how I got their video for Dark Dimension 3. The best I'm going to get on this first run is, like I said, Symbiote. Well, you already saw my Cosmic team. It's Loki, it's Hela, it's Minerva, and Loki, Hela, Minerva, and Black Bolt. And then City, it's definitely Symbiote Spider-Man, and hopefully Carnage and Ghost Rider if I can get them done. And that's it. And you saw how I got there. Again, I'll do another video where it's more about if I had to start all over, or these are the best type of tunes thing, we'll do something like that. I'm sure there's going to be tons of those videos out there, but I want to finish this thing so that I can be as educated as I can about every single node and experience all these characters throughout. So that's what I got to say about that. So anyway, appreciate you stopping by. As always, hammer down the like button, share with your alliance mates, friends, family, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever wants to watch and play Marvel Strike Force. So anyway, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.